Welcome to the Scouting Report on LUTV as Leeds United prepare to return to Elland Road to take on Swansea City this Wednesday night, buoyed by the point picked up at Borough late on. Here to look at the Swans and their pros and cons ahead of Wednesday night is former Leeds defender Ben Parker. Ben, big point on Saturday. We left it late again, but how crucial do you think that could be going forward?
Massive. These little moments, you look back come May time and you get promotion. These are the type of games, the type of points where you'll think back, that is why we got promotion, because the first half there was nothing in it, and then when we went a goal down, that kind of galvanised us and it showed us character once again. And to score the goal in the 100th minute was just a great, and you go away from the game thinking you feel like you've won the game, so the boys will be bouncing into Wednesday night full of confidence now. Yeah,
probably on the balance of play should have actually won the game, but this side don't panic, do they? I mean, even when they're up against it, they've gone behind quite a few times in recent weeks and months, but it doesn't faze them at all, does it?
No, it doesn't, and the way we play as well, we don't change the style of play. It's not like we bring a big lad on, we go route one straight up to them, play for the second balls. We still play exactly the same way, we still try and build up from the back, go back to the keeper, go out the other side, and over a course of 90 minutes, or 112, which it was on Saturday, we wear teams down. So the big thing from our point of view is can we start games like that, because when we do start games, we blow teams out of the water straight away. So yeah, great to have the last minute goal, but can we have an all-round performance on Wednesday? Interesting
stage of the season now as well, because we don't have a game on Saturday after this Swansea match because of QPR's involvement in the FA Cup. But then coming up will be sort of 3 games in 6 days or so, and we've got QPR and West Brom on a Friday night. So I guess important this week after the Swansea game to try and get some rest in.
It is, and I think as a player you can mentally break it down quite easy. So you can go into the game Wednesday knowing you haven't got another game for a while. You might get a few days off depending on the results. So give it everything. Don't leave anything out there, because, like I say, have a few days off and then you go into that big period where there's a lot of games in a short space of time.
Okay, well, let's look at Swansea then, our next opponents, because we'll cast our mind back to the game between these two sides this season. And Swansea actually one of the more impressive teams that we've played this season. This was an entertaining game, wasn't it?
It was, for a game for the neutral. It was a really entertaining game, back and forth both ways. And at the time, I thought it was a big point going to Swansea, because I think a lot of people at the time thought they'd be up there challenging in around the playoff positions. It's probably not worked out for themselves and the fans how they expect the season to go. But Bamford coming on there for the ball into Pablo. And yeah, like I was saying at the time, it was a great point.
Yeah, coming from behind twice in that game, of course. This is Swansea's last match at the weekend. The 1-0 win over Millwall. Always tough, of course, playing against Millwall. But Swansea, in this result, Ben, just keeps them within touching distance, doesn't it, of the playoffs? 6 points off it.
Yeah, looking at the table, like I was saying, 6 points away. You hear loads of rumblings from likes of Villa, teams around that area, thinking they can still push into the playoffs. And these will be thinking exactly the same. They'll be thinking coming into the game at Elland Road on Wednesday, if they can get a positive result, they're banging the promotion race to get into the playoffs. So it'll be a difficult game. They've got some good individual players. The players similar style to how we do, like possession-based. So I expect another good game, well, a pleasing game on the eye.
How they got away with it though at the end of Millwall with that missed chance. I mean, and that's the Championship, isn't it? Sort of fine lines at the moment. And just we'll talk about Swansea's kind of style of play and pick up their key man in just a second. But as far as they're concerned this season and where they probably expected to be, are they one of the teams that could go on a run? There's a lot of teams that think they can keep the season alive. But 6 points off the playoffs is not insurmountable, is it?
No, but the big thing for most teams this division is consistency. Yeah, they do like to have the ball on the floor, but what do they do with it? Probably not efficient as they like to be, because where they are in the table at the moment. But on any given day, if you give them time, give them space, they've got individual players like we touched on who can hurt you.
Okay, well, let's look at one of the key men. I mean, people might expect us to pick out one particular player. We're going to not pick out the obvious maybe, but we are going to pick out their obvious striker, Oliver McBurnie, who has produced the goods this season, hasn't he? He scored goals. And the thing I remember from the match earlier this season, he looks like the kind of striker who is a defender, Ben. Yeah. He's just a pain in the backside to play against, isn't he?
He's a nightmare for a defender, centre-half, because the size of him is a big lad, so aerial is a big presence there. But also, he gets in behind and he works his socks off. So when he's closing down, he's non-stop, he's high energy. And he was a player I was looking at thinking he'd fit a mould being in our squad. He's like a Leeds type of player this year. But he is a threat. Don't give him any chances, because you see the aerial challenges 1 per game, 3.3. It's quite high. but also his movement. So it's kind of an all-round package.
Yeah, good numbers, certainly good stats for a Swansea side who are just sort of the upper half of mid-table. But he kind of reminds me a little bit. He's a bit of an old-fashioned sort of centre forward, isn't he? As you say, you know, he likes the physical battle as well, but he's got an eye for goal.
He has, and it's scored all different types of goals. This is what you probably more kind of expect coming from him, because he's like an aerial threat, but he always finds himself in the right position. He gets himself in the box in good positions, and it's up to Swansea how can they find him. But this is typical Swansea. I think this is the first game of the season, so going way back, but get up against Sheffield United, they're building up from the back, few passes, they're getting in between the lines. You can see McBurnie involved there, a little flick around the corner, and comes to him on the second phase of play. But that's Swansea City in a nutshell, building up from the back, playing between the thirds, playing between the lines, get the ball forward in dangerous positions, and McBurnie in the right place at the right time. So from our point of view, can we stop the initial pass, like the long diagonal ball there? You expect our full-back to be out on his toes. I know they're trying to do that now, but don't make it easy for him. Don't make it easy for the wingers to get balls into the box, because if you do, it's going to be hard to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen his aerial presence well, scored against us, of course, in that game down in South Wales. So he's a definite threat. We'll take just a look at Swansea and how they've done away from home this season and where their goals have kind of come from. Now, in terms of the style of play, you've watched a lot of them this season, obviously in the build-up to the game, Ben. Is this a Swansea team that are playing in the Swansea way? And we kind of go back to Roberto Martinez and when they were flying up through the divisions, and they were one of the first teams I saw to play the sort of 4-2-3-1 formation and that kind of thing. Is it a similar style? Is it similar to what we've always come to expect from Swansea?
It's similar in the aspect of, like, they get the ball on the floor, try and build up in the right way. But going back to Martinez teams, I've played against them teams, and the difference between that Swansea side and this one is the tempo and the way they do it. They don't seem to move the ball as much, as quick as often as they can do back in the day compared to Martinez. But when they do that, they've got the ability to do that. That's when they do look a real threat and a real dangerous side. So it just depends on what kind of consistency they're going to get, because like we touched upon, if they had that consistency, I'm sure they'll be high up in the table. But on any given day, they can produce that. I
think that's the key word you said, that dangerous side. You know, I mean, coming to Elland Road, I know we're confident because of where we are in the table, but this is a team that were in the Premier League last season, so they've obviously got quality. Breakdown there of where their goals have been scored away from home. And in some ways, a bit like ourselves, Ben, does Swansea's style of play and what you described there, does that suit them being on the road as opposed to maybe being at home?
Probably does, because like I was saying, they'll have more space to probably go attack. I reckon teams will go to a Liberty Stadium and make it difficult, like we'd see teams coming to Elland Road make it difficult for us. But the difference between ourselves and Swansea, we're more efficient with the ball. He seems to have more of an end product, where I think Swansea, yeah, they're passing the ball around, but sometimes I don't think they know individually what they're trying to get our end product from it. Or they're just keeping possession for possession's sake. There's no real end product for it. So, but on the flip side, these are the types of stuff what they can do when they do press high.
Yeah.
And like saying, they're going to Brentford here and they win the ball high up the pitch, and they're punishing teams for trying to play out. So that'll be a danger for us, something to be wary about.
Yeah, I've got the energy, of course, to press, and we've not seen many teams do that, Elland Road. I think the teams that have done it have normally had a little bit of success, not necessarily from a result point of view, but certainly from a performance point of view. Brentford, for example, were one team that did it, Hull did it extremely well. At the other end, though, this is Swansea and how they've conceded goals this season. Obviously, set pieces potentially a problem for them, but if they've not conceded a huge amount of goals on their travels, the results have been a little bit mixed. But what about them from a defensive point of view?
I think they're a team where you can get after them. They do take a chance on the ball because they obviously play out from the back, and I think they're a team you can bully. Yeah, and physically, like I say, concede a few goals from set pieces, so you can get in amongst them there. Where they're set up, it seems almost it's zonal, and there's been teams highlight Everton, a big one in the Premier League, a lot of spotlight on them defending zonally. And the delivery we've got, the quality we can put into the box, like we've seen with Calvin Phillips' goal on Saturday, the header from Liam Cooper, Calvin in the right place to finish it off. So we can exploit that, but on the flip side, in open play as well, because they do give you a chance, get after him. Like we're a fantastic side at pressing, and this is a perfect example. You could easily see this at Elland Road on a Wednesday, where they're trying to overplay out. We win the ball and we're clinical, and it goes back to the point from us. We're going to create chances Wednesday. We all know that. Can we have that conversion rate high, because we're going to get chances if we do press them high.
I suppose maybe the potential issue for ourselves is just looking at the counter-attack and not leaving ourselves vulnerable to that, because again, teams that have come to Elland Road and had some success have looked very potent on the counter-attack. Haven't they? Norwich, of course, in our last home game, did that extremely well, but of course Swansea aren't in the same kind of position as Norwich were. But in terms of potential lineups here, former Leeds loanee, didn't work out for Matt Grimes, really did it at Elland Road, but he's playing a key role for them in midfield. What do we think about the Leeds team? Many changes, if any, from the weekend. How do you think that's going to sort of pan itself? Obviously, Jack Clarke is unlikely, very unlikely to be involved. We're not expecting him to play, of course, but the rest of the team and how it's going to shape up.
It just depends on injuries, to be fair. See what Adam Forshaw's like with his knee. I understand you're pretty close to being involved on Saturday. But apart from Jack Clarke, you probably might expect kind of similar thing. Maybe Barry Douglas to probably come back in at left back. Alioski move further up and on the left hand side. But I quite like the setup of his team. I liked the Bamford Roof kind of rotation. The big thing with Bamford, as the game unfolded, it's going to take a little bit of time for our players to get used to his little bit of movement, because they've been used to Roof all season. He's a striker who likes to show to feet. They can bounce passes into him, where Bamford is forever trying to get him behind. So there are a few occasions where they're trying to play into his feet. He's running the opposite direction and the centre half is intercepting. But there's the good players. People like Bamford, you've got Pablo, who's probably knocking on the door to try and get involved as well. These clever players, it don't take a lot of time to pick up the movements. No,
Hernando's desperate to play against his former club, of course. Scored down at the Liberty Stadium back at the beginning of the season. As always with Bielsa's team, though, Ben, we know it's really about what his team does, doesn't it? I mean, he's not, although he is obviously interested, as we've seen this season, how interested he is in the opposition. From a lot of point of view, Leeds being at home, we should again dominate the possession of the ball. But if you actually look at the possession stats from the last 5 matches, very, very similar. And I think this shows the similarity really between the two sides and how they want to play.
It does. On the possession side, we're at top of the table on that aspect, but Swansea on the top 5 also. But it kind of flips round on the pass rate success, because Swansea they've got the best in the division. We're a few places behind them. So all it shows is very similar types of teams. Both try and play in the same way, but we just have more of an end product. You can see more of an end product what we're trying to achieve. Where Swansea, they're kind of caught in two minds. But the goals, obviously, we're outnumbered on them. But can we just have that the end product, have that conversion chance a little bit higher? Because if we do, we can blow teams away 2, 3, 4 goals quite easy.
Yeah, and that pass success, that doesn't really matter too much, because I know that we take more risks with our passing, don't we? You can play a 50-50 ball, can't you? But you can be a team that will take more chances, and that's exactly what we do. So I suppose that's not a major concern, is it? We'll just take a look at Swansea's recent results as well, because they come into actually in a decent bit of form. Of course, got that win against Millwall, so they're in a position here where those results have obviously got to improve on the head-to-head situation. But for us, what we look at this, and these games have been spread out over a long period of time. Yeah. There's loads of goals in them, isn't there? Are you expecting loads of goals on Wednesday night? The way they both play, it's going to be an open game.
The way it's also hoped to be an open game, but I'd like to see us grind out 1-0 win. I'd love to see that. Just get back to having a clean sheet, because I firmly believe any time we keep a clean sheet in this division, we'll always create chances to score goals. So it's going to lead to us winning matches. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game as well. A sellout crowd at Elland Road as well. I mean, tickets once again like absolute gold dust, aren't they? You can follow all the action on LUTV, of course. You can watch the game wherever you are around the world as well, in the UK and Ireland. You can get your match pass for £10 outside the UK and Ireland as well. Match pass is also available at leedsunited.com for all the build-up as well, from about 6:30 here in the studio with Ben himself. Looking forward to it, Ben. Just for score prediction, how do you think the game's going to go down? I think we're going to start bright, because buoyed by that late goal, and I can see us winning 2-0.
OK, Ben's feeling confident. Looking forward to it. Wednesday night, Leeds United taking on Swansea.